there seems to be a lot of confusion over how to get data on your Boost Flash phone, and I would assume it's the same for Virgin Mobile and Sprint Prepaid. So this is a video that'll cover the data section of it. I'm not going to cover how to get talk and text. That's easily obtainable either by flashing the NAM settings and then your PRL, or by updating the profile after you repair the MEID. I'm also not covering how to repair the MEID. Anyone who has gotten as far as getting talk text and is working on data is most likely already repaired the MEID, so I'm not going through that either. So just jumping in, nailing some points on flashing that a lot of you guys have issues with, and I guess just taking it from there. First things first, I need to connect to your port. This one is obviously the wrong one. You're not going to connect to the USB modem. That's to only send your AT commands. You're going to have one down here, and you're going to double click on it. You're going to see your device down here. You're going to double click on that. This box is going to close. You're going to see it up here, and you're going to see this is also green and connected. The reason mine is disconnected and is grayed out or black is because I have no phone connected to DFS. And actually no phone really connected to my computer. Well, I do, but there's no port that it's really assigned to. So anyways, you're connected up here. You send your SBC code, most likely it's not going to be zeros, unless you put it to zeros. You're going to send the password, and one key thing here is that after you have just repaired the MEID, normally you send the NV item file zeros, it's going to zero this out. Then you'll get to write your donor MEID, and then once you write that, you're going to go here and notice if you hit read, you're going to have like 000, 000, number. That is kind of one of the triggers for the hands-free activation loop. All you have to do is just change those zeros to something other than zeros. I use 312-222-2222. This is a completely fake number. This has nothing to do with getting rid of the hands-free activation as in terms of doing something specific or being something specific. I just came up with this on my own. You can probably enter any, 10 numbers, as long as they're not sequential line of zeros. And these are the 4 fields that you should have populated with something other than the default, which is the zeros that it fills it in with after you repair the MEID. No one should ever be touching any of these fields in terms of flashing. If you're doing development on unlocking, you may probably mess with these. From what I've seen on a lot of Samsung phones, they're all enabled. Don't really know why anyone would be touching this other than, like I said, development, so just skip the band tab. Now in the data tab, this must be set to revision A MFVA. Not exactly too sure what that means, but a lot of I guess Verizon phones and Sprint phones are set to revision A EHRPD. This changes to MFPA on Sprint phones when you switch from CDMA, EVDO, and LTE to just CDMA and EVDO in the mobile settings. So yeah, make sure that this is that, and you're not really messing with the HDRAN or the PVP or the HDRAN PVP or the PAP, even if it says Samsung01 at Samsung.com and then the password Samsung. We're just going to leave that. Only thing we're going to mess with is the HDRAN long, and yours might have 99 blah 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 at hcm.sprintpcs.com. I missed a 0. And the password, you'll see nothing in the password field because that particular NV item that contains this password, you will get access denied regardless of whether you have the right SBC or the password, because Sprint obviously wants to keep this particular 32-character hex password hidden. No worries, we don't need to read it on the phone that we're flashing to anyway, but we do need to put the MEID of our donor in here and then we put the profile 0 32 character hex password in here. So let's just make one up. I think that's as far as hex goes. Okay, so now we have the MEID of our donor and the UID for HDRA and long. We have the 32 character in hex. Notice this check mark right here is checked, or the box is checked. That's for hex. If you leave it unchecked, it's going to try to convert it into ASCII characters, and you cannot input the ASCII characters or the correct ASCII characters that you will need to convert it to hex, because as you see right there, it just completely screwed it all up. So that's what we had for. Make sure that's checked, hit right, and don't freak out if you want to double check it, because I know a lot of guys, after they write it, they will hit read and then they'll notice it looks like this now. This is gone. Remember what I just said? It's you don't really have access to that NV item, or DFS CDMA tool doesn't, and therefore you're not going to see anything in that field. So if you're trying to double check it, you really can't. But if you're really that anal, write it again and then move on. For the mobile IP tab, it should already have it all filled in. These, I think, are the defaults for Sprint on that side. Make sure that you are in mobile IP. I know that simple IP probably won't get you any kind of data. And hit right over here. And this whole settings section is different than this whole settings section over here. And on Sprint phones, if you hit this radio button up here, this will be profile 0. Profile 0 will probably be filled in with the NII of the phone's original, I guess, MEID, which would be the 99 blah 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 at hcm.sprintpcs.com. That's probably what you're going to see in here. You're going to replace it with your flashed phone MEID at hcm.sprintpcs.com. Home address 0000. Primary address is 68 28 15 12. Secondary 68 28 31 15, I think. 68 28 15 68 28 31 12. Sorry. Primary is 68 28 15 12. Secondary is 68 28 31 12. Make sure you check these boxes, and it's going to be 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. Make sure reverse tunneling is set. And on the new version of DFS, this is what a lot of people really get thrown on. Pretty much just enter the same things up top for the HASS and AASS as you do for the long ones at the bottom. You can enter in the HA, which is the first one, in string. Damn it. And in string, the HA is always secret, and then you can check the box to convert it to hex. As you see, that's easily convertible between ASCII and hex. And the AAA password will be the 32 character hexadecimal password. Again, paste it on in there. That's secret again. And we're going to write that. Make sure that that is disabled. I can't really see it right now. There's an enable and disable button on there. Profile 0 should be disabled, Profile 1 should be enabled, and Profile 1 should have, well, normally you're able to update the profile with it, and then it'll populate by itself. But if you have a hands-free activation, just put in something for the username other than MEID at sprintpcs.com. Put like something like sprint at sprintpcs.com, right? Reboot, and you should have data and everything working. Thanks.